A lot of people come to counseling or psychotherapy because they're experiencing some sort of symptom in their lives. That symptom is usually anxiety or depression. They're feeling disconnected from people. They're having conflict in their lives. They're facing an addiction, etc. So on one hand, what we do as therapists is we treat the symptoms. That's the natural place to start, right? We want to get you feeling better as soon as possible, and so we want to treat the symptoms head on. However, sometimes we need to go further than that if we want to really look at the root cause and we want to create changes in your life that are going to be way more sustaining. One way to do this is by looking at what I consider congruence versus dissonance in your life. My name is John Clark. I'm a licensed psychotherapist at calmagaincounseling.com. If you're looking for online counseling, head to calmagaincounseling.com to get started today. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and let me know your reactions to this video in the comments below. So first of all, what is congruence? I consider congruence an alignment between the values that you have, what you believe about life and how you should be, and how you actually are, so your behaviors. So again, congruence is just alignment between your beliefs and your behaviors. On the other hand, what's dissonance? Well, dissonance is the opposite of congruence. Dissonance is when you have misalignment between your beliefs and your behaviors. One easy example of this is people who smoke. People who smoke tend to know that smoking is indeed bad for me, it could kill me, it could give me cancer, etc., and yet they do it anyway. Well, how do they do this? They've reduced their dissonance, and there's only two ways to reduce dissonance. Number one, you could change the behavior to align with the belief. So if the belief is, I know that smoking is bad for me, then you could change the behavior, in other words, quit smoking, to align with the belief, and therefore you're congruent again. On the other hand, you could change the belief. You could change the belief to be, smoking isn't that bad for me. And what you can do is you can even just find examples or proof to confirm that belief. For instance, if you were to say, I've got a grandma who's 95 years old, she smoked her entire life, and she's totally fine. Or, I've smoked for this long and I've never gotten cancer, so I'm fine. So you change that belief to align with the behavior. Either way, people are constantly trying to reduce dissonance in their lives. Another term for this is cognitive dissonance. So why does this matter? This matters because a lot of times the symptoms that bring people to therapy are just the symptoms. There's something underneath. People might be feeling really anxious, or people come to me very often and say, I'm really unhappy and I'm not sure why. Or I've got career success, financial success, a great relationship, etc., but I'm still not happy. We might look a little bit further and say, okay, first let's start by talking about your work. What's going on there? Well, I've got a great job, I make a ton of money, my job's not too hard, but I'm just not fulfilled. Or I don't feel good about what the company does or what the company provides. Or I don't feel like I'm really having an impact on the world. So there's a point of dissonance. We're going to look into that, we're going to explore it a bit further. Many times there's an opportunity there within people's career to create more congruence and to reduce dissonance. People need to feel good about the way they're living their lives. So how does this show up in your life? Most commonly, it shows up as anxiety or depression. Dissonance is just like tension. So you're going to feel tension about certain things in your life. And you might even feel additional tension or growing tension over time if you don't change something to create more congruence. For instance, you might dread showing up to work, and that dread grows over time. Or the more you work or the more you talk about your work and tell people what you do, the more dissonant you feel and the more likely you are to get to a point where you need to make a change. And again, either changing the belief or changing the behavior. So how do you address this stuff more tangibly? Well, the first thing that you have to do is you have to identify your values. Most people of any age, even people that I work with who are in their late 60s, have never sat down to really identify their values and figure out what really matters to me in life. We're going to link to an exercise in the description below that's going to help you identify your values. You're going to take these cards, you're going to spread them out, and you're going to identify your values. You're going to rank them into 3 different categories: important to me, very important to me, or not important to me at all. I want you to try to, in the section of very important to me, narrow that down to 3 or no more than 5 values. These are the values that I want you to really focus on and try to create more alignment with your life to line up with these specific values that you've chosen. So once you know your values, how do you create more congruence? Well, again, you could change the belief around this stuff. You could kind of try to rationalize your current behaviors, but I, in general, don't recommend that approach, right? It's like continuing to smoke even though you know it's bad for you, but you find excuses as to why it's okay. The harder thing to do is to change the behavior and to make the adjustments in your life to create more congruence. This might mean some really big changes in your life, and sometimes that's just what it takes to create more congruence. Whatever you do, I want you to know that I'm here to support you. If you're interested in working together on this stuff or anything else, just head to calmagaincounseling.com to get started. Otherwise, again, if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts in the description below. What do you think about this? Have you thought about your values? What kind of dissonance have you felt recently? And let me know your general impressions. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.